This is part 2 of The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beatty for the 22nd of June, Work Histories. Just as I've had to deal with my feelings and messages about myself in relationships, I've had to deal with my feelings and message about myself and what I believed I deserved at work. I'll give you an example. Today, it's like I was substituting a kindergarten teacher. There were 31 little children, and there were 2 women working. One of them decided she had to wash dishes. One of them was drawing. So I was left alone to watch 31 kids that I really don't have a relationship with. I don't know them. From a bar of soap, they don't know me. And these women who have worked in the kindergarten, one of them decided that it's not her job description because she's supposed to work with one girl. And the other one decided that she needed to do the dishes right then and there. She could have done the dishes when I had the kids in circle time, but no, it had to be done right there and then. And since they were my assistants, kindergarten assistants is their name, and they were dictating to me what to do. And I thought, wait, hold on. I'm the kindergarten teacher. I'm in charge of the staff. I get to call the shots. And one of them said, we'll go out at 12. Why? They usually let the kids play from 12, then they don't do anything, and the kindergarten is clean and everything is easy. But I'm not going to go outside at 12 o'clock noontime in this I almost said winter. I don't know why did they say winter, wishful thinking. In this summer heat. Yesterday I saw it was 30 degrees at 8 o'clock at night. I'm not going to say, oh no, there's shade. But also for the children, try running around at 12, and there's a song, only mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun. I was not going to go out to the midday sun. I was not going to let them dictate to me what made sense to me, that you take the kids out at 10:30 when it's nice and cool and bring them in at 12 when it's hot to the air-conditioned room. And then the other one said, let's not take them out at all. And I thought, excuse me. There were like about 5 extremely hyperactive kids, and I've experienced with children, and I could see this was going to be a disaster, a recipe for disaster. You don't keep kids inside, and especially boys, sorry to say it, yes, boys have a lot of energy, more than girls, and especially not kids that cannot sit down for a minute. I could see these kids need an outlet. It's a nice yard outside, and there's a difference between playing indoors and outdoors. First of all, when you're indoors, every sound you make is amplified. It's really loud, gets very quickly loud, and it's unbearable. That's why there's an outside. I would let kids play outside as much as possible. They had a beautiful place to play, lots of toys. There was no reason to keep them inside. So finally, the assistant, she was a nice woman. She just didn't want to work that day. She thought, okay, I have vacation, and one woman has to watch 31 kids. And it's not about my workload. It's about what's good for the job, what's good for the kids. One woman watching them, or 3, or at least, okay, the one doesn't want to work because she's working with one kid, but it's just responsibility and how many eyes can watch 31 kids without 5 to 6. So I needed to clarify it. Of course, one of them started to cry, and then the child said, you told her she's doing nothing. But she was doing nothing. But then the kids came and yelled at me. 5-year-old child yells at me, we love her, and this. It's like, what the hell is going on? And I said, did you tell him to say this? She said, no. She saw me crying. I said, but what is this? I'm dealing with a 5-year-old crying, and then I'm dealing with a woman in her 20s who's crying. And then I was telling her not to use her mobile phone. She said she had a phone call from her child's teacher. I don't know if it's true or not, but if you're at work and your child's teacher is working, I can understand if it was an emergency, but then you say, I have to take this call or whatever. But it looked like she was just setting herself very comfortably to just sit there and hang out, because this happened to me so many times. They size me up and say, oh, with this one we could just do whatever we want, just because I seem soft and gentle. No, it's not going to go. And the same thing with relationships. It's true. What happens in work happens in relationships. I'm a pushover. In relationships, I've been pushover too. And then I decided, that's it. The buck stops here, as they say. That's it. I'm not going to be a pushover. I'm not going to be watching 31 kids by myself where she talks on the phone with her. I was already in one school. First, she made an appointment to the doctor. Then she made another appointment for the doctor. And then she did an appointment for the hairdresser. And then she had to clean. And meanwhile, I'm alone with 30 kids outside. And she's just nowhere to be seen. Those kids were a little bit easier to handle also. There were not as many boys. I've learned my lesson. But you know what I've also learned? Not to feel guilty. So I tried to explain to the kids, it's okay, adults make mistakes. I said sorry to her. She, acted as if I punched her in the face when I said sorry. Because somebody told me in Israel, self-deprecation doesn't work. Saying sorry doesn't work. You're not supposed to say sorry to people here because that shows a sign of weakness. But I'm sorry, I have manners, and I felt bad that she had to cry, and I don't know what happened with her child's teacher, so I said, okay. I had a feeling she was taking advantage. Call it gut feeling, call it knowing people here that like to take advantage and not do work. But, yes, I am suspicious. After a lifelong, experience in Israel with kindergarten here, the past 4 years since I've come back, if they can take advantage, they will. If they can just sit on their asses or do anything else but do their work, they're going to do it. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of having 31 kids on my shoulders while they just sit and talk on the phone. No, it's not going to happen again anymore. And she's supposed to be the teacher's assistant. I'm the boss. I get to call the shots. So I left 3 messages to the teacher, and then she left a message. I'm supposed to show them a movie. So I showed them. The movie they chose was Bible stories. The last thing I needed as a liberal, progressive person is to watch the story of creation. And then they were laughing at the naked people, Adam and Eve. And with all my respect to religion, I was like, I couldn't help it. I just had to mumble, this is just a story. And the snake is like a bad person that gives you bad advice. And God is like a kindergarten teacher, and you have to listen to them. And then I thought, really, is this the best you can do? Wasn't there like a nature film where kids could actually learn facts? And then this girl started to ask me these deep questions. Can we see God? I said, no, God is like energy. And do we have one God or many gods? I said, well, it depends who you ask. And those kids had a good brain.